All right, number one, what is criminal justice theory? Criminal justice theory is looking at the criminal justice system apparatus as a whole. Where criminal theory looks at the causes of crime, criminal justice theory looks at the why of crime. By looking at the laws that define the crime, the actors within the justice system who deal with the crime, and the entire system as a whole. Criminal justice theory, as Krasko says, is the object of study of the entire criminal justice apparatus and a host of crime control practices, which the crime control practices would be the topics we've chosen for our papers. So mine is plea bargaining, which jumps me right into the first theoretical lens on question number 2. Number 1, rational legal. From a rational legal perspective, plea bargaining ensures that the punishment is more immediately inflicted on the offender because it has taken away the right to a trial, which could be lengthy and costly. From Beccaria, this can be seen as crime being certainly punished over severity. So plea bargaining ensures that there is a punishment instead of, reaching for that trial and obtaining a, much more severe punishment. You're getting an effective conviction immediately. Number 2, the systems theory. General systems theory, it can be seen as an input-output form. The crime is committed, police make the arrest, prosecution presses charges, defense and prosecution agree to a plea bargain for a lesser offense, judge approves of deal, which secures the conviction, and then sends the offender to prison. Offender serves time and then goes on to parole. Once they're no longer on probation, through parole, it closes the case. Therefore, the offender went through the entire process and it becomes a closed output. Crime control / due process. For crime control, it is seen as a way to ensure that the offender is incapacitated through the prison sentence. Even if there is even a likelihood that the offender could get off on a technicality during trial, then the prosecution will push for a plea bargain to ensure they secure some form of a conviction rather than nothing at all, which goes to due process. The offenders do not get their chance to take their cases to trial if they choose plea bargaining, which means that they do not have a chance to appeal their decision after the fact. Politics. The best I could come up for this is that everything with crime and criminal theory has to do with politics. Constructionist. We see this theory, at least I believe so, in a lot of courtroom police dramas. It had given society the impression that the plea deal is the best way to get less time for your crime. In a lot of those, like NCIS, not CSI, gosh, I can't even think of any of them. But anyways, the police officer, investigator, whoever will offer them a deal if they confess their crime, admit where stolen goods are, admit where a body is, confess who their partners are. So society has put this impression on us that plea deals is the way to go. And so therefore, I think it became a more widely used practice in criminal justice. Also, because of that overusage of plea bargains, it just makes them look more appealing to the offenders, victims, and the lawyers. Number 6, growth complex. I think this one is in the meaning. Plea bargaining is one of the many seeds that feeds the growth of the justice system. It ensures convictions, ensures bodies in prisons, and oftentimes ensures the capture of more offenders. What I mean by that is when they do have a partner, a plea bargain, as I just stated, can be offered to confess who your partner is in the crime. You will get only charged with one offense for this amount of time if you tell us who your partner is, whereas they're going to get charged for all the offenses. Oppression. With plea bargaining, you are pleading guilty to your offense, but with that, you are being sentenced for a lesser offense. On one hand, it may seem like a great deal for those who know they are guilty. But what about those who can't afford a good lawyer? Those who are stuck with the public defender, the public defenders who have so many other cases and are tired, overworked, and just want to get you that plea deal so they can get you off their caseload. I'm not saying that's how the practice of public defending is, but that happens more often than not. Public defenders are going to pressure their clients to take the deal so that they can just make sure that they did their due diligence of making sure they helped their client. Also, along the lines of oppression would be the fact that lower class citizens don't know all their rights necessarily. They're not apprised of the workings of the justice system, so they just get told what to do by their public defenders and just take whatever is offered to them so that they can go home and be done. Especially if they've just are given time served offered, they're going to say, yes, I committed this crime, even if they didn't do it. Let's see, late modernity. From my understanding for this one, the plea bargaining process has is a reason for mass incarceration. According to many of the field and CJ, a huge reason for that is because of plea bargaining in and of itself. With less than 10% of charges in America going to trial, this ensures that 90% of offenders are incarcerated, a mass majority of them being minorities. And let's see, question number 3. What was that question? Do some topics more readily lend themselves to explanation by some theories over others? Yes, the topics or the... Do some topics more readily lend themselves? Yes, I think so. My topic was quite hard for me to find some of the reasoning of through lenses. Let's see, the ones that I struggled with the most would be politics. As I said, the only thing that I could come up with is that everything that has to do with criminal has to do with political. The constructionist, I hope I wasn't overreaching in the sense of society has turned plea bargaining through courtroom dramas into a go-to. And I can't think of a topic off my head that I could easily pull out all 8 theoretical orientations, but I'm sure there are a lot more than what I have chosen. Which leads into question 4. What challenges did you face in analyzing your topics from different perspectives? As I just stated, some of them were harder than the others. I think growth complex and oppression were the easiest for sure. Late modernity, I think that one I'm still trying to grasp a little bit. I think that one and politics kind of like intertwined a little bit. Yeah. And then last question, are there other perspectives that are not presented in theorizing criminal justice that need to be considered? Probably, but I do not know. As we continue to learn more and as I continue to read more, I'm learning more and more and understanding more and more, but currently I couldn't answer that any better. And I think that's it.